F is up today, where we'll be discussing Oman versus Thailand and Saudi Arabia versus Kyrgyzstan. Make sure to subscribe to us as we'll be discussing all things Asian Cup football throughout the entire tournament every single day. We'll be recapping all these matches, and we'd love to have you guys alongside with us. And you know what's crazy, bro? For as jam-packed, for as drama-filled as our last episode was, where we recapped 5 banging matches, it just makes sense that the soccer gods give us this slate of matches, bro. Because in my opinion, this was one of the toughest watches out there so far throughout this Asian Cup tournament. With 2 overall, I would say as an objective viewer, boring games.
Yin and yang, man. Yin and yang, for sure. I thought the exact same thing. I was like, dude, we got so blessed with some top-tier football over the last couple of days in Asia. And then today, definitely, and I mean by far, the slowest day for football matches as far as excitement's concerned, man.
Yes. And what better game to represent that than a 0-0 draw with Oman tying against Thailand?
Spoiler alert, my least favorite game of the tournament.
Yep.
And
right there with you.
It's just not even close. Not a lot happened in this game. Almost nothing happened. But the thing is, as the game went on, I was like, I'm not surprised by any of this. Oman don't have an offense, right? That's one of the things that you should know about this Omani team. They've been really good over the last couple of years, but just year after year, they're just kind of slowly losing themselves as far as how to figure out to put the ball into the back of the net. One thing they can do, though, is defend. And so they did that today. They didn't really have to, though, because Thailand didn't have a lot of the ball. And on that Thai side, I'm not really surprised with this performance either, because they got the win that they needed against Kyrgyzstan. The longer this game went on, they're like, a point's good for us. 4 points will get us into the knockout stage. We don't have to risk anything. And for Oman, I just kind of got the same feeling. Like they weren't willing to risk, to commit that many numbers forward, because I think they were just scared to lose another game, right? They started off with a loss against Saudi Arabia. It was a little heartbreaking for them, and I think that kind of got in their heads in this game, because they just wanted to make sure they didn't make any mistakes. But in doing so, I thought they were just a little too conservative.
Yep, very conservative, which is crazy to say considering they had 70% possession, but they didn't do much with the ball, bro, in that final third. And I agree with you, man. Like, as an objective viewer, I was really missing that extra punch watching the game, because I was just thinking, man, this is the type of match that you really only get into if you're a fan of either one of these teams. From an objective point of view, it was very tough to entertain myself, but still, I was watching the defensive battle on display that we got with 2 standouts for me from Thailand that I thought put in a great performance. Elias Dola and Panza Hemvibun. Both of them I thought were incredible, throwing the goalkeeper as well if you'd like. Yeah. They had a great showing, defending, being physical, and just taking everything that Oman tried to throw at them and just shutting it down ultimately to get a clean sheet in this match, which does end up qualifying them into the round of 16. So like you said, Thailand got the job done, and I am overall disappointed in Oman, because this is the game where they should have been willing to risk it. They should have been willing to go for those 3 points after a heartbreaking loss, but they didn't, man. And so now they put themselves in a really tough position going into their next match.
Yeah, they'll have to beat Kyrgyzstan in that final match. Have to, no matter what. If they do, though, they will go through. But just it's going to be a lot of pressure for sure. And yeah, I'm with you. I have the same sentiment here. I'm disappointed in Oman because this was a winnable match, especially at halftime, knowing, all right, okay, Thailand don't have a lot of the ball. Let's just go out in the second half and attack. But they waited till like the last 5 minutes to actually commit numbers. And I was just like, it's too little too late. And unlike Bahrain, they don't have an Ali Madan to save them in stoppage. They just don't have that. So yeah, 0-0, I think it was the right result. What's crazy though is that despite all that possession, it was Thailand who had the clearest chance in the game early on with Dola, free header in the box off of a corner kick. He hits it with power too, but it goes just straight at the keeper. Still a really good reaction save. But yeah, honestly, Thailand could have ended up winning this game 1-0, all things considered.
It could be on 6 points right now, and that'd be pretty impressive.
That'd be
because in the preview, I actually had put them in last in this group, I believe. I didn't see them being able to pan out like this, but they've been great. Thailand has been amazing, and so I want to give them their credit. And as the chief associate here of gauging the fan interest of these teams, 2 things I noticed. For Thailand, I saw that their fans were very proud of this performance and ultimately that they qualified to the round of 16 after just 2 matches. How could you not be proud of that? And they haven't lost. They have not lost yet at this tournament. So they're completely fine with that 0-0 result, and they seem really happy with it. And that's for the Oman fans, bro. Did you notice that they brought in megaphones to the game, bro?
They do that.
Yeah.
They also do that in Saudi Arabia too. What's crazy though, this is the first time I've ever seen a video of them holding the megaphones.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard it. I've always heard the singer. It's like a call and response type of thing.
Yes.
I've always heard it when I see these Middle Eastern games, but I've never seen how they do it.
Yeah.
I was literally wondering, I was like, do they get on the speaker of the stadium and do it? Because, dude, it is loud, man.
It's loud.
But I saw that same picture. There's a guy with a mic, and there's two guys on either side of him holding megaphones. It's a crazy system.
It's crazy, man. And so, yeah, I
love it.
There was an atmosphere in this stadium. There
Yeah,
really
there
was.
There was.
It ends up seeing Thailand and Oman tied 0-0. You already spoiled it, but I agree with you completely. 6.0, the lowest score I'll give to a football match. The only way I'll give a football game a lower score is if it gets canceled or if there's some sort of riot that happens. Yeah. That's what I reserve the 5s or 4s for. But this, to me, the worst game, 6.0.
Yeah, literally the exact same score and reasoning, 6.0.
Okay. And it sucks, bro, because to follow up this stinker, we got a game that was decided after like 20 minutes, man, where once again the energy of competitiveness was completely gone from it. And we saw Saudi Arabia defeat Kyrgyzstan 2-0, who ended up enduring 2 red cards to their team, being down to 9 men. I mean, there were some takeaways from this match, and I'd like to hear what yours were to start.
Yeah, so the red card, first one happening in the 8th minute. Let's talk about that first, because it's just obviously zero intention here. It's clumsy, it's rash, but honestly, I just think Russia blood to the head. He just went a little too aggressive, and he just missed it completely. And instead of the ball being there, it was the Saudi Arabian shin.
Yeah.
So it's just like
dangerous. It's dangerous.
That's the thing.
It's dangerous, bro.
And so the more they replayed the action, I was like, this is a red, and it's getting redder every time, man. Like I was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the right call. You could see though how frustrated the player was, man. I believe Akhmatov was his name.
Yep.
But bro, like imagine though, like you just start the match. It's 0-0. You need a result here because you had a really bad game to start the tournament. And now you're like, all right, let's try and pick ourselves up. And you start the game down a man, essentially.
Yep.
Crazy. And you could just see, like, basically just the anger and frustration of Akhmatov knowing that he was going to leave the pitch and he had fucked his team in the process.
Dude, he was frustrated.
Yeah.
He really was, and he just knew that he couldn't get it back. And yeah, it was late, it was high, and it was reckless. Nothing you can do about that. And so what ensued was Saudi Arabia having most of the possession. Kyrgyzstan getting, essentially eliminated from this game in terms of a competitive sense. Yeah. But what frustrated me the most about this match was that I had been wanting to see Saudi Arabia prove to us that they're worthy of being contenders in this tournament. In that first game, it was a crazy match with them coming back from being down 1-0 to Oman. They get a late minute winner through a header from a corner kick to make it 2-1. Good on them. They got the result. But still, we said on the podcast, let's wait for their next upcoming games to kind of gauge where their Saudi Arabian team stands in terms of like their momentum, how they're playing as a team and everything, all things considered. But with this early red card, bro, once again, I'm left questioning where I stand on this Saudi Arabian team because I didn't get a clear indication of how they can play throughout a full 90 minutes, especially with how bad this game got once they got down to 9 men. It's a little concerning that it still took them, I think, about 20 minutes after that red card to kind of start taking over and dominating. Once they got that first goal from my boy Mohamed Kano, finishes it off, they go up 1-0. And then from then on out, they still struggle to get that second goal. And theoretically, Kyrgyzstan is in the match.
Yeah, they were in the match almost for pretty much the entire game. Yeah, they were down a man, down a goal, but it was 1-0 the entire time. But that's the thing is, when that red happened, I was like, this game is basically going to be pointless, as you just point out, because Saudi Arabia now know that somehow, some way, they're going to get a goal, right? They don't need to realistically worry because there's 90 minutes after that red card to play, and they're going to get a goal. And they also know that their opponents don't really have an effective offense. And if they're down a man, they have zero offense. Yeah. So this game was just frustrating because I was hoping to get some sort of read on Saudi Arabia, but all I can say is they faced a team that bunkered in today because they had to. So it was up to Saudi Arabia to try and figure out how to break a really tight defense for 90 minutes. And the thing is, they weren't even stressed about it because they knew there was really no risk here.
And yeah, Saudi Arabia ends up winning 2-0. The second red card came. I thought that one was a little bit more harsh, but still, once again, one of those freeze frame moments. You stop it, you see that there's a dangerous play. It's a red card. Kyrgyzstan goes down to 9 men, and Saudi Arabia afterwards gets that second goal.
I will say, though, even though I can't get much from Saudi Arabia, I still am frustrated that they just didn't score more goals up a man. And I know it's tough because Kyrgyzstan, honestly, did a great job defensively. They really improved since their previous game against Thailand, because they were atrocious defensively in that match. Today, down a man, I thought they actually defended very, very well. So it was good progress in this tournament for Kyrgyzstan from a defensive perspective. But still, man, like Saudi Arabia were pretty wasteful because they still crafted a decent amount of half chances throughout the game. Firas Albraiken had a wide open header in the first half that should have put it 1-0 at the time. And he botched it. Really bad shot. Saud was creating chances out on that wing, but his final balls were off target every single time. Salim Al-Dosari wasn't really that influential. Like, he got on the ball, but he didn't really create that much. Garib got on, but once again, late into the second half. So that was also just kind of weird. Why not just let him have fun, give him the entire half or something like that? But yeah, just some weird moments here for Saudi Arabia. But yes, they did get the win, and the scenario was very strange with 2 red cards.
And I will say, from what I've gotten from Saudi Arabia fans, they do agree with us in the sense that they are questioning their team after this performance. They're questioning Mancini as well with his tactics and who he's playing and who's giving the opportunity to showcase themselves in these matches, because it hasn't been convincing so far, man. It hasn't. And they got 6 points, sure, but it's similar to Australia. It's similar to these top teams that are maybe not showing out their best form yet. It's good enough to get through these group stages, but once it gets into those serious games, will they be able to come through and win? For Saudi Arabia right now, I'm not fully there yet. And I will comment on the atmosphere. Saudi Arabia once again showing out, man. I love their fans. I really do. One of the best fan bases here in Asia. This game ultimately, I mean, I still gave it a 6.0, bro, for me personally, because I thought it was just as non-competitive ultimately as that first game for me.
Yeah, 6.2 only because Saudi Arabia crafted way more chances than in the Oman-Thailand game, but, still a stinker.
Okay. All right, and now we're going to do match previews for tomorrow's games, where in Group A, we have 2 matches facing off at the same time. The third round is officially starting, the most exciting round of this tournament. Let's go, baby. Man. Let's go. It's getting really good.
Let's go.
We have Qatar facing off against China, and at the same time, Tajikistan facing off against Lebanon.
Yeah, let's start with Qatar, China, because there's just less at stake here. Qatar have already first place in the bag. They could lose this game 10-0, and they'll still finish at the top of the group. They honestly could play a B team.
Yeah.
They really could. And I'm actually interested in that, because if they do, does that help China?
Yeah.
That could actually help China in this case. China have just really disappointed me, but they have a chance to secure second place here. They haven't lost yet. 2 points, 2 draws, right? They win here, they'll finish with a solid 5 points and maybe garner some sort of redeeming factor going into the round of 16.
Yeah, I think even if Qatar plays their B team, I think Qatar wins this game, because by virtue, China has to be more aggressive in it. Yeah. And so I see Qatar getting a couple goals in this game. I'm going to predict a 2-0 victory for Qatar. I just don't trust this Chinese offense whatsoever.
Exactly agree with you. I don't trust this Chinese offense. They haven't proved to me that they can play offensively. I think Qatar is going to take this chill, and since they will, I'm going draw here.
Okay.
I'm like 0-0, maybe 1-1.
Okay. And then lastly, Tajikistan facing off against Lebanon. This is the game to watch tomorrow, with both these teams looking to get a victory here to get into the round of 16. How are you feeling about this match?
Winner will go through. Even if China win, they'll go through in third place. So this is like a final for both of them. The fact that they both have a genuine chance to go to the next stage, I think says it all. Lebanon had a really good last match. Tajikistan over the last 2 matches have shown in moments that they can play top quality football. So I think the fact that these 2 teams are going at it in this final stage, this is going to be really dramatic. Yeah. And I hope it is. Who I think's going to win, though, this is where it gets interesting. I honestly think it's pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah.
I really do. I won't be surprised if either team wins it here. I'm going to go Tajikistan, only because I just wonder if Lebanon can actually score the ball. Tajikistan haven't scored either, but they had a good run going into this tournament, so I'm hoping that they can find that form.
Yeah, and Tajikistan, I think, ultimately played a more respectable game against Qatar than Lebanon did. And I think Tajikistan, I predicted in our preview video that they would end up in second place. If Qatar beats China and Tajikistan wins, and that prediction comes true, I want to see Tajikistan win. My biggest thing about this match, I don't want to see a draw. I don't want to see a draw, bro. Like, I better see keepers up in the 90th minute. I better see guys really going for it in this match, because the thing that serves these teams the least is a draw. And so please just give us an overall entertaining match that, adds to that crazy Asian Cup drama.
You know what's crazy? If Qatar beat China and there is a draw in the Tajikistan-Lebanon game, second place will only have 2 points.
Wow. Yeah.
They would be 3 teams on 2 points and Qatar would have 9.
You're completely right. Dude, that'd be insane.
That'd be insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that in any group stage tournament ever, bro.